If you don't want spoilers, then you should probably like not watch the stream at this point. I guess I can go over every turn if you want, but I don't know how many people would be interested in that. I'm not really big into guides, like for myself or whatever. I just record mainly for just see what I can do better myself, and then there happens to be at least a small amount of interest of people who like say, hey, can you post your stuff? I said, alright, whatever. Sure, why not? Just play the celebration. Did I not eat food on this attempt? Oh, I did. I did right on the pole. Okay. Let me play some music. I think I'll play the Shiva music. I'll just mute this. I can remove the image slideshow. Yeah, this is really loud. So yeah, the beginning part of this fight is pretty scripted. As long as no one's taking like unnecessary damage, you can pretty much be on a set spell rotation. The only kind of thing that majorly can screw you is the tank damage, because it is kind of a range, and you can get lucky with like blocks or parries or whatnot, which can free up a GCD for you to do something else. So like during this first part of the fight, our Scholar and myself were kind of mixing DPS, and you can see she's already in cleric stance. I pretty much cover like the first couple auto attacks in the breath, and then you'll see that I immediately switch to cleric during the Mega Flare casts. Generally, as a white mage, when you see the Mega Flare cast, you can switch into cleric and at the very least get a global in. If not, I'll just throw a... If it's super hectic, I'll throw a fluid aura in cleric. I haven't hit play on the video, so I'm just kind of going over some of the beginning stuff, but I will play it here. So you've got a couple autos here, followed by that breath. Immediately switch to cleric. Throw some DPS up for the first Mega Flare. So basically, where the hell did it go? Let me rewind here. So when this Mega Flare cast goes out, everyone without a mark, well, I guess DPS and healers and stuff, they get targeted with missiles, and some of them will be targeted with these discs, meaning like a second missile is going to drop, so you need to not be in those giant red circles. So generally what I'm doing here is the people with these circles, so to my right you see Aaron, he's kind of got this golden ring around him. Anyone with that ring has to stand together. to absorb the damage that's going out. If you happen to be someone without a circle and you decide to go where everyone is, you will be blown to bits. You're not a tank. You will die. So you want to dodge the red circles, but you also want to make sure you're not running to where your designated stack point is if you're not marked. So since everyone's getting hit by missiles and stuff, I'm waiting for this stack damage to resolve before my Medica 2 hits. So that's why I have time 2 DPS. So there are the missiles. Not much damage because people had stone skin on. You see that that damage resolved. This Med 2 is about to fire off. And then you have a flatten. Flatten is basically like death sentence. It's going to be spike damage on the tank, and in this first phase it's followed up with a few of those breaths. So this is where it got a little dicey, because I swear 30 attempts in a row I could sometimes not even heal the flatten and just DPS and the tank would be fine. Other times I could just heal, like land a heal as that flatten damage was coming, switch to DPS and it was fine. But for some odd reason, the day we got the kill, if I did just that, the tank would die every time. So people were getting frustrated. It's like, we shouldn't be having tank deaths in phase 1 of the fight when we save the whole damn fight. So you'll notice that I've changed my healing strategy. So going forward, I'm actually landing a Cure 2, and then I'm just healing 1 heal for the breaths, and then I'm switching immediately to damage here, because that seemed to be enough for the Scholar to take care of the rest. Right here, I should probably explain how we're doing this. So, where is it? So, you'll see to my right, Arn has a symbol over his head. And you also notice that, I can't tell who has it in the melee right now, the Caraway. But basically, a melee and a ranged get targeted with this. Healers are exempt from this, and the MT is exempt from this. And this is Earthshaker. The way we split up healing for this is Bonnie or Leia, the Scholar, will heal whoever is in melee, closer to the boss, and I will heal the ranged target. So that would be... It could really be anyone, because it can target like both of the monks. It could target the monk in an off tank, so whatever is further away from the boss is the one I'll be healing. So in this case, because I know Arn uses Mana Wall to block the damage from 2 of the 3 Earthshaker hits, you'll notice that I continue to DPS, knowing that he's not going to take any damage from these first 2. And I switch off Cleric and I land the Cure 2 for this last Earthshaker, then I land another one for this Breath. And here's another Mega Flare. What I do here is I will Divine Seal before I throw my regen out, and then I will go ahead and switch to Cleric and get some damage off. So I've got Seal, Regen, Cleric, Arrow 2, run up for my Fluid Aura, and you'll notice that I'm getting my cast off and I still have like 5 seconds left of my Seal. I tend to try to use it earlier on this fight just so I get it back faster in case things get really weird. So same thing, on this next flatten, I know that Rakuthi is going to use Sentinel, so he is going to mitigate more damage in the first go around. Just to be safe, instead of just DPSing right after the flatten, I help with the first breath again. So you see here, I'll switch back to cleric, kind of just throw some stuff out. And with this, since I know the bard has it, the bard probably takes the most damage, even though he's got a good chunk of health. I can't really fall behind, because 2 consecutive hits without a heal will normally result in his death. So you have to be on top of it. Generally, I keep saying generally, but the trick here with my current spell speed is there's the mark over Icy's head. If I start my cast after it disappears, my cast will land when he's hit. So you'll notice I'm waiting, I'm interrupting my casts, and then it hits right as the shakers are landing. And if I don't see the tank at full, on my second cast, I will use that cast to bring him to full and let him kind of linger at lower health until I know he's completely safe for this breath here. And then I'll kind of catch up here. I'm a little late because of that, as far as getting set up for some DPS. So you'll notice here that I just go to cleric, throw in a fluid aura, and then run to my stack spot. And because there was a little bit of delay with getting cleric off, since there's a little bit of a CD, I went ahead and sealed and swift cast this med too. Helped bring him to full. This one I don't switch off to DPS because the mitigation CDs are not as potent. Plus we were getting Giga Flare at that point anyway. So. Yeah, the nice thing about Fluid Aura is it's off GCD, so you can actually fit it in between 2 of your abilities. We also had a set plan as to when Hollowed Ground would be used in the latter phase, so Rakuthi just decided to use it for this flatten here. So you'll see that I switched to Cleric. In this phase, I'm primarily focused on Rakuthi, even though Bonnie helps a lot on him, and she's focused primarily on Caraway. And I am just trying to get what damage I can off, because beyond this point, I can't really break into Cleric. So I'm just trying to do as much as I can in these first 2 phases without getting people killed. So same thing, you have an ad that spawns. You can't see it in my POV. It was dragged across to the other side of the room. More Mega Flare. These orbs give you this debuff. You can see it. Rakuthi has 2. Caraway has 1. Ox is 1. Pang is 1. Icy has 2. So difference here is you have Mega Flare that goes off, and then he casts an ability of Rage of Bahamut. And the amount of damage you take is determined by how many stacks of that debuff you have. So the more you have, more damage you'll take. This isn't the normal spell rotation that I use. This was kind of a weird attempt when it came to healing, but sometimes that happens for whatever reason. Different people getting different amount of orbs and whatever happens in between that. Okay, so with this, the orbs, guess I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. So you see that they spawn. Now they don't move until you actually, they do like a little animation before they start moving towards the target. And once that fires off, you can, that's when the breath is gonna happen. So if you wait for that animation to fire off on the orbs, and then you time a heal like maybe like a half a second or second after you see that animation, it will land right as the breath lands on the tank. So that was my kind of marker for that. So there's the animation. You can see that they've started moving. and I fire off and my cure hits pretty much right as that breath is landing. It's the same thing with the flatten, except you wouldn't start your cast for flatten because there is an actual cast bar for flatten. So that's the kind of the marker that I used to time the breaths there. I save Benny for oh crap. Yeah, pretty much. So I don't know if you guys missed that, but we gotta rewind again. So that's the first set of orbs. So here's another set of orbs, same thing. And when you see the animation fire off and then start to move, that's when the flatten cast is gonna happen. So there it is. This one is a cast bar, so I can time my heal with it. I generally try to get a stone skin up for the flatten. And at this point you can say I'm like at half mana, and there's a good part of that is because I spent so much mana trying to DPS. Like even now. Anytime I see Mega Flare, it's an opportunity to switch to Cleric, at least in the first two phases. So, see your Mega Flare, I'm switching to Cleric, kind of waiting to see if I'm marked with a circle or not. In this case, I'm not. I can go up and move in for Fluid Aura. Switch out of it. We've got Divine Seal, and one trick that I'll do here, and our Scholar tends to do this, but before this rage hits, if you see someone with 2 stacks that isn't a tank, you can throw in a Stone Skin before this rage goes off. I will always do that if that person is weakened. So if they've died already on this fight, I will make sure that they have Protect and use that global on a Stone Skin for them so they survive this. In this case, I was just pretty confident that our Scholar, I think, was going to take care of it, so... Oh no, I Swift cast. I actually Swift cast a Stone Skin on him. I don't think it resolved in time, though. Did I Swift cast? Let me see here. Is that what I did? I don't even remember. I Swift cast something. I have him targeted. No, I used a heal. Yeah. Sometimes I'll do that too. I will Swift cast the Stone Skin if I feel like there just isn't going to be time for it to actually apply and resolve in time. So pretty much rinse and repeat with this ad. Orbs. You don't want anyone but a tank getting 3 stacks, because I mean, once you get that 3rd stack, the impact from the orb is you're going to die from it. So, Giga Flare. Transitioning into the first set of dives. This is where I die. So, with the dives, this is what I do. I target Bahamut where he is. My designated place is to go to the left of him. And as I'm running to the left, I'm going to scan the room to see where the storm is. That's the 2nd dragon. Or Twintania, or whatever the hell it's called. But what I normally do, and it normally works, I cut as close as possible. And I run through as he's doing the animation, but I just had gotten greedy and got way too close. You can see my group is like Caraway is probably like a character to my right, and I got hit. If I had just been a tad over to my right, I would have been fine. But I knew where it was, I knew where I wanted to go, I just got greedy with it and got hit. And died. But if you are going to die as a healer, this is probably the best possible time to die. Everyone's idle. The only thing that sucks is my scholar has to raise me and waste her mana on me because I got greedy. So that kind of sucks for her. But no real DPS loss, because from this point forward I'm not really going to try to DPS. It doesn't make much sense for me to do that right now. Also, in a very different mindset, I'm trying to recover as much mana so that through these phases where our tanks are going to take a bit more burst, I'm able to actually cast stuff. Yeah, I didn't even try to move out of the next one, because even if I did, I would have died. Like, it would have been hit. So I just accepted my fate. Because even if I had bettied myself, it would have hit me into the wall at that point, and I would have died from the wall. So, didn't even try. So this is important. So the sins, these things do occasional, like, they'll turn around and do an ability called Evil Eye, and the amount of damage it does is dependent on how much health it has. So the more health it has, the more damage it does to your raid. We actually wanted to get hit really damn hard to build our limit break bar faster. So we would leave the boss up or the second sin up intentionally at like over 90%. Or 90%-ish, so that we would our health would fall to critical levels, and see where the limit break bar is right now, and you can see it just spiking up. Like, we got, I don't know, 4th, maybe 3rd, probably more of a 4th of a bar there, just from that. And that was our idea behind this, because limit break bar was just so damn inconsistent. Like, some attempts we'd have LB3 like ridiculously early, other attempts for the life of us we just couldn't freaking get enough. So my again, I checked where the first one is. I generally don't hug the wall. I am actually dodging more towards the center. It's kind of what I do on our side, at least. So I focus target the Storm because it does do death sentence. I'm fully confident in our Scholar because she's pretty much kind of in charge of the Twintania tank. That's not what I call her, Twintania, but whatever. However, if I am doing nothing, I'll just fire off a heal for the death sentence, as I do here. So I've got some mana back. I'm at half. If I hadn't died, I'd be at full. So there's the death sentence. Didn't need the heal, but whatever. Use Eye here. Getting a lot for your money here with 5 mobs beating on this tank here. And I don't really go for big heals. I just use what's it called? Presence of Mind. Increase spell speed and just try to get some cure ones off to proc the free cure. Pretty straightforward. DPS is normally a little bit faster, so we don't take as much damage from that Evil Eye normally. With this attempt, we're brought to half health, which I think at some point it was only taking like 10% off. So since we killed the Storm, there's actually only... Storm is like the Titania, the second dive. There's actually only one dive to dodge this go around. Oh, another thing, you guys, I didn't mention. So, another thing that I've done, because we don't know where the dives are going to be, and just so to make it a little bit easier, as close as I can for the dive, for the dives go out. I will throw a virus out. You can see it, the animation on Rakuthi Smob, the pain there. I will throw a virus out before we run out, just so he gets hit a little bit less harder as we're kind of running around, figure out where to go. So, virus out there. I also do that in the first phase, or first part of this ads as well. So here, we do not kill the pain on purpose. Our monks want to keep their Grease Lightning stacks up, so we actually let it live. With LB3, or actually, oh, we only had LB2, huh? Sometimes we have LB3 there. It's not really anything to be concerned about. But it allows them to keep their GL stacks up. And generally, I'm stone skinning both tanks. Caraway first, since he's not tanking the pain. Because if I stone skin Rakuthi, it's gonna get right off. You see here, I'm going into this phase with 495 mana. I'm usually going into this phase on a good attempt with full mana. So I'm going, okay, well, got to play a little bit more conservatively this go around. So the Akmorn, this is pretty nasty damage. We handled it. We could have handled it better the way we did this, because apparently it only attacks the main target. We had our attack stacking for this, so. And the pulses increase. So right now you've got 1, 2. The next one is going to do, 3. And it just gets nastier and nastier the more it goes on. And I'm trying to just bait procs. Try to conserve mana as much as I can. See, right here, it's going to be really tempting as a white mage because you just hit med 2 and you're like, damn, half your raid's still at half health. And that's what I was doing, but it just completely destroys your mana. So it's sort of better just to wait it out and get some single target cures off. And sort of let the fairy do its thing, let your scholar kind of do her thing, or hit his or her thing. And same thing now, you got Earth Shakers. I would be healing Icy in this case. So again, trying to get this thing off right as the damage is hitting, because if we fall too far behind, gonna get screwed. So Tempest, Breath, another Akmorn. So in this case, I am stone skinning Rakuthi. I think, is Rakuthi stone skinning Caraway? Yeah, he is. So, and we have our Paladin stone skin the Warrior. What I've been doing is actually swift casting a cure too. Sometimes I'm doing it on my target. So Rakuthi is my focus, Caraway is the Scholar's focus, even though we kind of cover each other. I think, let's see what happens here. Here 2, you see I swift cast. I did fire it off on Rakuthi. There are times during the later Akmorns where I will use that cure 2 on Caraway instead of Rakuthi. So that med 2 I used Divine Seal for. I generally try to save the seals in this phase for that. And again, just kind of resort to single target healing since there is that window there to kind of catch up. I've got Rakuthi as my target, Paladin, so he isn't going to take too much damage, but he does have a Tempest Fling Tether, so the whole thing is making sure he has enough HP to survive that. You can see air fires off. And then switching over to Caraway to make sure he doesn't die. Yeah, I think it's Giga Flare next, yeah. So I think there's an Ockmorn right after this Giga Flare. So you need to get some raid healing up, but also prep your tanks for the incoming Ockmorn damage. So I think I fire off a Cure 3 and then I shoot Presence of Mind off. Yep, so Presence of Mind, I got my Stone Skin, and I'm not sure, okay. So yeah, this helps me with kind of just keeping up with that burst there, and you see that I'm going to Swift Cast a Cure 2 onto Caraway. Sometimes I do it sooner, that Swift Cast. If I feel like he's really going to be in danger, I will Swift Cast a Cure 2 on him. That happened many times during some of our really close wipes. Again, Divine Seal up for this. Meant to. Let's see here.
User in your channel timed out.
First sacred targets. Again, Arin has Mana Wall up, so I know he's going to be eating the first two. It's nice because I get to regen a little bit of mana here, as well as use that free cure proc for that last bit of damage on him. Switch right over back to Caraway for the type of Spring Breath. This is the nasty Ockmorn, and so this one I think... Actually, this one he has Sentinel up, so I think I switch earlier back to Caraway. I do. I did Swift Cast a Cure 2 on him. Yeah, that one I found was a lot more forgiving on the Paladin, so I would always use a Swift Cast Cure 2 on Caraway at that point. So another sealed Medica 2, and I'm choosing to single target heal people up. I've got Shroud coming off cooldown, which I'm very happy about. And I've got our Bard, so I know I'm going to have to heal pretty damn hard. Okay, so I've got Ockmorn here. I know that Truthy's got hollowed on, so I'm at this point just helping out with Caraway. And we have the Enrage. I'm out of mana. Slamming my pot to try to get another cast off, and it missed. But yeah, we got the kill. That was pretty damn close. I don't think you could get closer than that. If you do, it's like less than a second. So you can see in my battle, like Arin actually dies. You can see him. His name is grayed out there, and he hits 0. He takes 43k damage, and it actually says Recruity takes 38k, Caraway takes 41k, I take 43, Ox takes 49, so like that's about as close as you get to dying without dying, and Arin died, but I think the rest of us lived, so that is turn 13. I think it's 14 minutes. I don't know. I think it might have been even probably a little bit faster if I hadn't died. Like our Scholar probably could have done more damage those first 2 ads, so maybe we shave off a little bit of time. But that's pretty much been the strategy. I don't know. It's like it seems like a lot of damage, but once your tanks and your healers, like your tanks work out their cooldowns, and your healers collaborate with one another, it's very predictable. You know what Ockmorn, like when it's coming and what it's going to do every time, as well as all the other abilities. So it's a very simple simple fight to heal. I'm not saying it's like easy to do, but it's very predictable. I guess I can go over the other turns if I even remember at this point.
Like a fucking King Blue.
Let me mute this. It's simple because you guys trust. Well, yeah, but it was confusing at first when we didn't know what the abilities did. We didn't know how, you know, tanks were figuring out how they want to use cooldowns. And again, healers are trying to figure out what we wanted to do. But once you map out a strategy, it's very simple and it's very repeatable. So it's, I don't know. I just don't feel like it's that difficult of a fight to heal. You just have to get all that stuff worked out. It's just in our current gear, it's very unforgiving if the wrong person dies at the wrong time. Once we have high level 130 weapons, we could probably get away with a death and bringing him back and not, you know, still be able to beat the Enrage. Dude. Yes, that was me. Like, all, like, we get chunk of progression. Like, look at how many attempts I have. This is not all just turn, whatever. It's also, like, it's also the other turns. But that's just one folder. I have another folder of stuff, but dude, we had attempts, like, going into that second phase where we'd have LB3 with no one dead. And then we'd have other attempts where it's just like we have maybe LB and a fourth. And it's just dumb that there's just that big of a variance, like right now, in the LB bar. So anytime we would drop to critical and I would see like the LB bar like move, like it was good because it meant the possibility of us killing it faster. So, this fight, I think in the beginning, tried to just, again, do some damage in the beginning. And a critical rip. That's just like some spike damage, like a mini death sentence type ability. It's just like the start of every other fight. You just there's some damage out. So this fight, a person with a purple orb, once that fires off, it'll stun anyone within the animation radius. So you don't want to be near that person, or that person doesn't want to be near anyone when that fires off, and then what'll happen is the boss will look at that person and charge them. So you see it, it's now off over his head, it's about to fire off, and boom. So that's what you don't want to get hit by, because if I was standing next to him, I would be stunned right now, just like he is. Once that fires off, though, I can get as close to him as I want. So, you see, he's targeting Ox, who had the mark. and he's about to do this charge. So the way this charge works is the first person between the boss and Ox is going to take a butt ton of damage, and the rest of us are going to absorb smaller amounts. So it needs to be a tank. So the tank needs to be the first person, and the rest of us just need to be somewhere behind the tank that are going to absorb this charge damage. What I do is try to fire off AoE heal as the charge damage is being hit, regardless of whether I am part of the stack absorbing the damage or if I am on the side. So actually you'll get to see both, I think, on this POV. So you see Medica hits, Oxen Pang and myself, we all get healed up. Another ability here, Red Circle, is Prey, and that person just needs to be shielded with either an Adlo or Stone Skin. The way we've opted to do this is to have our Scholar get the Adlos off because the cast time is shorter, and it's just the system we worked out. We had toyed with the idea of a priority system, so if 2 Preys were being fired off, maybe she would get 1 depending on their position on the party list, and I would get another depending on their position of the party list. So at some point we made the switch to just have her do both, and she did a really good job, so just kept it that way. Gives me a little bit more of a window here to just throw out some damage. It's not a lot of damage, but you know, do what you can. Here you have 2 sets of ads that spawn. I throw my eye up on Caraway, and I think Bonnie throws her up on, yeah, Rakuthi. See, we both got it. Gotta get some damage. 2 Preys going out, 1 on myself, 1 on Arn. I know I don't have to worry about either because that was the agreement. I just kind of focus on the tanks. Pretty light healing as long as you're actually just only healing. I would sometimes try to switch to Cleric and get some damage off just to get through the phase faster. First Daughter's dead. I think I may have tried to use a global here or something. Yep, switch to Cleric. And it missed, so it was kind of useless, my effort. No, it was for turn 12. This is just free DPS, and at a specific percentage. I think it's 78, he does AoE ability. Oh, 77, 78. It's Electric Burst here. So I think I switch out of Cleric and just throw off a Med 2 with Divine Seal up. So Heat Lightning targets random people, gives them a vulnerability debuff. It is kind of a small AoE in the targets it selects, so it's extremely important that you're not stacked or near anyone else, otherwise people die. So you can see myself, Pang, and Icy have the vulnerability up. We're hit by the lightning. And there is another set that come out, followed by a charge. Again, Bonnie's got the shield on the prey target, which is Pang. So another heat. This is actually going to be followed by a charge, which you can see I am the target here. I try to get a med 2 off just so a hot can start taking on the people who are getting the lightning damage. And the trick now is, since four of us have their vulnerability up debuff, Caraway, I guess Caraway still goes in it, but the Penguin Arn would not absorb this charge damage because I believe it would hit them to their death. So they stay out. More critical rip. And same thing. Spread. The soft enrage for this is the arena gets smaller and smaller. The outer rim right now, part that's kind of glowing. If you walk into it, it does damage. So don't want to sit in there. As the fight progresses, these rings will start lighting up like that. So we have lightning damage that goes off. Since I was hit by the lightning, I am not going to take this charge. You see that our healer is our other healer is the charge target. So what I just do is park myself to the side, and I want to just fire off a Medica as the charge is going off, because I know that she's going to be flying into that nasty stuff in the back, and don't want her to die from either the impact or the dot tick from that stuff. So see, Caraway gets it pretty damn hard, 781, but that med hits and resolves after the damage goes off, so they are safe levels. Well, I wouldn't call 2000 health safe on a tank, but safe enough to have our healer come back and get back in the game. So yeah, we LB3 the first set of ads just to get through this phase quicker, because there is another set of ads that pop. And I think just so we can stay on pace, we go about it the way that we do. Let's see, Caraway picks up those ads and drags them across the rest of the room. But I mean, as far as mechanics go, that's pretty much the entire fight. It just sort of keeps doing the same thing, and as long as you... I guess there's a tether. The tether comes after this. And don't mind Bonnie saying she's not good, because she's really good. Don't be fooled. So another electric burst here, another kind of round where the arena is going to get smaller shortly. Okay, so again, same mechanics, heat lightning, I think followed by, okay, so that there's the difference. So tether, you see kind of a little, it looks like lightning shooting out from the boss targeting someone. We have set people that are going to go and absorb the damage from this tether. And that's really the only other mechanic that you have to work out that you don't see until this latter phase. And once you have that worked out, then at that point you know the whole fight. It's just a matter of executing. Again, I've got charge. I actually saved my swift cast because this might be a little bit further of a run to get out, so I generally save this one until after I get knocked back there. You see I get pretty damn low, so... And heat. I move to my left just to give our bard some room. He moves a little bit to the right and we're good. What's up, Xholic XS? XX? I saw that bunny. I had you. I knew she was gonna actually leeches herself, so I just threw a heal on her. Same thing, I'm freaking hit by this damn thing. Because I saw R in there and I knew the rest of the raid would adjust, I just kind of sat here rather than walk up to him and stun him. That worked out just fine. And I tried to throw that med 2 off. Try to get some hots up on those people with the vulnerability up. Get lightning damage. And that's the fight. It's pretty simple once you, again, know the fight and have a plan. It's everything, I guess. Three-headed war beast. And I do have all the videos posted that I'm watching right now, so if you're curious to know, everything's there. But that is turn 10. And now turn 11.
Only 5.
So we had wiped, if you look at the instance timer, we're at 14 minutes, so yeah, we'd wiped for a little bit on this guy. The take LB was just for funsies, there was just no real strategy behind it. This boss... So generally, the mindset I have, he does these telegraphs, so if he has targeting the tanks first, if you go to where the tanks are now, once this nerve gas resolves, you'll be safe for the remaining 2 casts. The only trick is when that third cast goes off, you need to run out quick, or he will cleave you. So what I generally do is kind of move towards over there. You see I actually hit sprint right now preemptively, so when I fire this off I can run back faster. I don't get hit by that. So Barrowfield is the kind of the turquoise looking thing that's now under the boss. If you walk through it, you get a heavy and I think a vulnerability debuff. This fight, you really want to be in melee range, and I think just being able to run through the boss would trivialize a lot of the mechanics for the encounter, so they created this to just prevent people from running through the boss to dodge things. So another mechanic, it's kind of like Mega Flare missiles in turn 13. You spread out and then you stack. This is like Gaseous Bomb for turn 8. It's the same down animation too on the guy. Okay, for secondary head, what it does is, you see next to Rakufi, it puts I think it's called headlights. So any damage he takes, it's pretty much going to wreck him. So you have to tank swap. And the timing for this, with my current spell speed, what am I at? 113 of the bit. Go back just a little bit. Okay, so there's secondary head. If I fire off a Cure 2, probably within like half a second or a second after that cast resolves, the heal will land right as the tank swap is happening. Unfortunately, this one, I think I just did it like a split's not even a second early, so start my cast, and Caraway took 7,000 damage, but you can see my crit heal did not actually hit him after, so I just cast it a little too fast. But generally, I'm able to land that heal right as that damage is landing consistently. So again, this is in tanks, so I can run in front, pretty much be cool. This is going to be on the other side, so I preemptively move, just to give myself a little bit more room. I have to move as much for the cleave. So there's that gaseous bomb animation. You stack, either you're going to spread and then stack, or you're going to stack and then spread. So in this case, stack, absorb, and then spread out. So your secondary head, same thing. This time I waited just a little bit longer, and my heal hits this time after the damage resolves, so. Yeah, and just during the nerve gas, if you've got mana or globals to spare, meaning there's nothing to heal, you can just throw out some damage. And as the closer it gets to the latter parts of the fight, I generally just stop DPSing just to conserve mana in case something goes horribly wrong, which has happened. Secondary head, same thing. Okay, so we got a phase change here. So these nodes need to be tanked apart from each other, otherwise there's a tether that forms. In this phase, I am standing between both of the tanks, and my primary heal target is going to be the paladin. Bonnie's taking care of Caraway and the raid, and I will kind of just be a secondary to the raid, so that is why we are set up the way that we are. So our paladin is taking in sort of just to do a bit more damage. Another ability is this Fork Lightning. It's like the lightning in turn 9. So if you have it, you just need to be away from people. The other ad does like repelling cannons, like ADS in first coil. So that's what the raid is taking damage from back there. I already did the turn 13, Livy, so you're good. I actually started with that. That's pretty much all that's going on here. Not all, like I will virus the paladin's target and get a heal and make sure regen's taking if I'm ready to move back to the group for a full cast here of mid 2. Just buys me a little bit more time and a window on the paladin as I step away, because sometimes he does, or I go out of range of him. I'm the one making the adjustment, so. I don't know. I like this phase of the fight. I like that there's consistent damage like on everyone, and there's movement. I'm dodging things. I also have to look to make sure I have lightning and anyone with it. So it's like for me, this part of the phase from a healer standpoint, I enjoy it a lot. It's just I'm never just sitting around doing nothing. There's something to heal almost all the time. Here, I'm putting stone skins up. This is for the nerf cloud damage. Because of the vacuum hits, I do have to reapply the stone skin. I don't even think we need it at this point. It was more just kind of a better safe than sorry. Like, I don't have stone skin and I know how to target myself, and I'm like, yeah, I'd rather just eat the nerf cloud damage and get my heal off quicker, so. Divine Steel mid 2. So these jets, you won't believe how long we were stuck on this mechanic. Like, we actually got it right, I think within like 3 attempts, but for some reason, we didn't think it was right. And I think it's because the 2 tethers were, they were stacked, but they were too close together. So we just kind of didn't think it was right. But this took us so long to figure out. We tried all sorts of crazy things, like people running across the damn like far corners of the damn arena and all sorts of things. So it was pretty funny that once we realized what it was, like we're having opposite tethers stack on each other and all sorts of wackiness. So there's gonna be 2 sets of colors, blue and then that red and green, and it's going to hit 4 people, and the identical tethers have to stack on top of each other, be within very close range, and they have to be away from each other. So the blue has to be away from the red green. So you'll notice that since who has it here? Is it Icy and Aran? Yes, Icy and Aran have it. On the other side, our monks have it. So since their DPS, they're basically on the left and right flank of the boss. The tricky part of this is once nerve gas comes out, you'll notice. So here is where things get kind of crazy, or can potentially get crazy, is where do you dodge? If those 2 things can't, the blue and the red green tethers, if they can't be near each other, they need to be coordinated as to where it's going. So what we've opted to do is one of the colors will take priority in whatever area the boss is facing. So you'll notice that the blue is going to shift towards the front of the boss, while the red and green tethers are going to stay towards the back. And then once that's all done, they shift back to their original positions. The only difference in the tether positioning, instead of it being the flanks, maybe it starts front and back as if it's the tanks. That's the only... So in this case, the tanks have the red and green tether. Myself and Bonnie have the blue, so we are just right in back of the boss, chilling. So we're trying to stay far away from them as possible. You can see them start to shift. You can see Caraway start to shift a little bit away from us. Nice guy. we see that they're shifting left, so see us kind of inching to the right, and yeah, that's really it. Just kind of keeping in mind where the rest of where the other tether is, and just sort of helping each other out. And that's pretty much the rest of the fight. There's not a whole lot beyond that. I guess there is a nerf cloud. There's some damage here that goes out. AoE damage, but it's the same stuff. Stack, split, split, stack, whatever. And tethers. So we've got blue tether on the tanks, red green on the Bonnie and Icy, looks like, yeah. And that's just it. It can target anyone, so, and it doesn't necessarily target both the healers. It could be a healer and a DPS, both the healers, both the DPS, so everyone needs to kind of have a plan, you know, and feel very comfortable and with where they want to go with the tether. What are you asking? Yeah, so again, this is just execution. Everyone has to... You'll see here, that's actually a really good example. Like, rather than risk, even though, yeah, you could kind of see, like, Icy and Bonnie are moving towards the front of the boss. Had we committed to going to the boss there, we would have definitely collided. So we opted to just eat this nerve gas here, and just eating one, survivable, not too big of a deal. So we obviously didn't want to eat that one right there, but sometimes I think in a situation like that, it is better just to eat the nerve gas than blow up the other group. Because if one person in the tether dies, the other one dies automatically as a default, so you got to be careful with that. How come BG's having problems clearing turn 11? Because we're bad. This turn probably gives, as far as raid clearing goes, this may continue to give us a problem at times. I don't know. It's tethers. Everyone just has to be on their game. Why didn't the dev team interview the Crazia? Well, we were never interviewed by the dev team. We were interviewed by the community team, but they had a live stream going for the event, and they were trying to fill slots for it, and we filled like a 30-minute slot for them. Would not be surprised. I know the London Fan Fest I think was only a day, but the Japan one I think is a couple of days, so I'm sure they will, assuming Lucrezia is available, like, I don't see why that wouldn't be a possibility there. So I mean, it was also their first fan fest that they've held with that team, so they were probably just trying things out, and if they felt like it was a worthwhile time for the live stream, yeah, maybe they'll interview two FCs instead of one, you know? What stopped you guys from beating them? We don't really play to beat everyone. I do think that there's some people that's their motivation. They want to beat us or just get first, but like when we're in there, like we're not thinking, oh, we have to kill it before XFC or YZFC. You know, we're just in there having fun and trying to have fun and trying to do the best to our ability, you know. The first night we raided 7 hours. It might seem like a lot, but we normally would raid much more than that. And by the time we had woken up, I think a boss or two had already been killed. So we just sort of played when we could. Like some of us had to take breaks. I took a break to do some stuff one day during turn 13. We all, like, people are very accommodating within reason. You can't just disappear for a week during progression, but if you have an errand to run or something, you know, that's fine. So, I mean, quite frankly, even if we had like all the time in the world, I don't know, just the crazy of they were. I don't know, the fact that they did turn 13 in a day, it's really impressive. So, what else can you say? Hats off to them. Turn 12. So, this is going to be the turn where I have the least amount of input. Primarily because I missed all the progression for this turn. I have an alarm on my phone set to go off on weekdays for my job, and I edited that alarm for it to go off. No, it was weekends. I have separate alarms for the weekends as well, but I edited the alarm instead of creating a new one so that alarm never fired off. So I was late to raid. They had already jumped in. So this is actually week 2, and I missed the first turn 12 kill with our team. But I don't remember. They got it really damn fast. I feel like they killed it. It was one of the quicker turns that they figured stuff out and got through it. So I was brought back in this week, and I was like, I don't know what the hell is going on. And since I had missed pretty much that full day of progression, or whatever they used, that trunk of time they used for progression, I missed pretty much everything. So I was just kind of in here trying to remember what to do. But the mechanics on this fight are very much like up my alley, things that I feel like just I don't have to try too hard to do. So you have Blackfire, a Revelation, same thing, burst damage on tank, try to just land a heal as it's going off. And when you see Blackfire cast bar, we have set positions for our people. You'll notice that I am stacked here with my healer. Icy is in the middle, and Caraway is over on the right. So when the cast resolves, you're going to have these things that spawn. You need to run out right away, because if you are in the hitbox, it will trigger an AoE that fires off, and it's just not good. You don't want that firing off. Next thing that happens, forget what this is called. Targets 3 people, but it will put a vulnerability debuff on the Blackfire. So the way we've done this is we've got these what's it called? Whitefire? I don't know what the hell is it called, but it's basically hitting multiple Blackfires, so you've got multiple vulnerability debuffs. Which means you just kill them faster, get through it faster. Throughout the raid, these mobs spawn. You see where the paladin right now towards the center of the Benus. So, later in the fight, I guess they're brought up to life, and when they are, they have some sort of a ability that fires off, so you need to make sure they die far from each other. And again, I wasn't here for the progression, but that's sort of what I gathered as I was chilling here with the group this week. So you notice that RN here has a green mark next to his name. When the Flames of Unforgiveness goes off, they are going to pass. He's going to pass, kind of like Allegan Rot, to our Scholar. And the only difference is it freaking explodes and does some damage. So my strategy was just to make sure that a Stone Skin was up on both targets, so that we would have less damage to deal with once it fired off. And a little bit more forgiving for other mechanics later on in the fight. So Stone Skin's up on both the Scholar and the Summoner, because those are the ones that are going to be passing the whatever the hell that thing is called, mark. So there's that cast again. They pass it again. Only thing is there is another tick of damage that goes off, so just have to keep that in mind. They are now both Stone Skinned. But that's pretty much what I'm doing in this first part of the phase, just Stone Skinning both of those targets and healing the tank. It's very basic, there's not a whole lot to heal. I don't know what happens if you just leave those 2 targets without Stone Skins, because again I missed progression, so I don't know what happens. I don't know if they just barely live, but I just thought it would be a good habit to get into in case the latter parts of the fight were a bit less forgiving. And just the pacing for the damage, as far as the tank damage goes, it just seemed like really easy to have 2 really long globals spent on Stone Skin, but also still cover all the incoming damage. So this part I just sort of winged it. I think this was my second attempt like seeing this far into the fight, and we got the kill. And I just opted to steal my Medica 2 for the HOTS, and then the timing for the second one I would just use a regular Medica, since the sealed Med 2 would still be ticking, and that was just more than enough healing. Now, if I had done progression I would probably be doing damage at this point as well, but I don't know, it was pretty straightforward to heal this part. Okay, so that's pretty much what I'm doing. I'm just rotating between the two casts. Again, you have so much damn time to prepare for that cast, so I mean it really is very easy to heal this part. I mean, you could just sit here and do a dance. And apparently people had the mantra worked out, so you know, we would that was all taken care of even before I said anything, so this latter part of the fight is where it got fun again. I only saw this part, I think, like this once? I only saw it once. This is my second time seeing past this part, and so I had an idea of what was gonna happen, but again, these type of mechanics are, it's just something I don't know, it's really damn fun to me. Okay, so this, I don't even know what this thing does, to be honest. This Fountain of Fire. I just know that I'm the first one in, and I take 2 stacks and I get out. So, I'm assuming we leave it up. It's not good. So you have that smaller phoenix in the middle of the room. It's kind of got a telegraph that looks like a landslide. And I think if you get hit by that, it's a hell of a lot more damage than the tether. So I've got this, yeah, to the left and right of me, people are individually being targeted by tethers, and then that means one of those smaller birds are going to dart across the room and hit that person no matter what. So the trick is just to point your tethers away from other people. And obviously if I'm moving around like that, not to stand in the way of other people's tethers. So I was kind of got a tad. See, had I done the fight more, I would have changed my heal order here. So at this point, I'm targeting Ox because he's got the lower health. He was gonna get hit by one of these anyway too, actually. But I would have done something different there had I had more experience with the fight. But this is my second time seeing this, so I saw that going, okay, I have a plan for what I'm gonna do. Actually, I have like 2 or 3 plans for what I'm gonna do the next time I'm in that situation. Again, important reason why I feel like you should review your footage. There's always something else you could be doing, I feel, to improve your play. But this is where I think it starts to get a little bit more hectic. You have more of these tethers going off, and this was like the best part of the fight, when it just starts turning into madness, and you still have that debuff being passed between people, or not debuff, whatever, that flames mark. You have tethers, that landslide, telegraph type thing, tank damage. So it's a little crazy. Now you have these craters on the ground. So what I've opted to do here, I remember because I took a quick glance around the room. And I'm still kind of scanning the room very quickly. It doesn't look like it, but I do kind of have bearings on where everyone was. Even though this, at least for us, it was one of the easier turns, it was definitely the most, like for me, fun. See, so I have this tether, I don't want to point it at everyone, so you say I sprint out of the way, make sure it's not gonna hit anyone but myself. I need to demod Bonnie for that comment. Yeah, I beat Pang's damage, Nokri. I beat him in Hawk Manor, okay? That is my FC comment in the game. I beat Pang in Hawk Manor. Bonnie beat Pang in Garuda. That's all I needed, is Hawk Manor, okay? That's all I needed. So yeah, you'll notice there I dodged near the telegraph, landslide telegraph, whatever the hell that ability's called, because I knew no one would be there. So that's pretty much, I don't know, just spread out and don't get it, don't stand in the way of anyone, and make sure you're not pointing your crap at anyone, and that's pretty much the fight. And we got through this turn week 2 really quick. Turn 11, not so much. We wiped quite a bit. What's my spell speed? Not that high. You think it's really high? It's actually, it should be really, really slow in comparison to most white mages, I think. So yeah, that was turn 12. Reason being is I'm using Vitality, like the Emerald accessories, and none of them are socketed with spell speed. It's all, it's Determination, Crit, and Vitality, so there's no spell speed on any of my accessories in this skill. My chest is the Ironworks, which still has debt. I am using High Elegant Weapon, Helm, Gloves. My pants are crit. They're the Daystar pants, so that's mainly for the Piety, but no spell speed on pants. So, did the boots drop from here? Did they drop from an earlier turn? I remember. They dropped from an earlier turn. So I did have the Dreadworm boots, which have spell speed on them, but not a whole lot, honestly. I don't know why it seems faster. I thought about doing accuracy, but I didn't think I would be DPSing much for at level 130 stuff. If it was Savage, then I would have done accuracy, but I didn't see the point. So those are all the turns. But yeah, all the videos I just went over, I have them up on my YouTube channel, so you can watch them all. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message, but